It's Professor Dave, and I want to show you the world.
He knows a lot about the science stuff. Professor Dave explains.
So to start episode 5 of the Kicked Out of Flat Earth series, a YouTube channel with over 300,000 subscribers named Professor Dave Explains makes a Flat Earth debunking video, which is one of the best ones I've seen in a very long time. GlobeBusters responded with a live stream and let Dave know. We'll skip all that because Dave responded to that live stream with a debunk that I can only describe as one of the greatest response videos on the history of YouTube, because in his debunk, he completely smashed every single point that Jeranism, Bob, and the Morgile made and illustrated the very reason why they have been kicked out of Flat Earth.
Hey everyone, this is going to be a pretty different video from what I normally post. If you're from the Flat Earth realm, you know what this is about. If you're one of my regular viewers, I'll fill you in as quickly as possible. Last week I posted a video about how we know the Earth isn't flat. This was really just to reinforce and contextualize some lessons from earlier in my astronomy playlist. I figured I'd get a few trolls, nothing major, but instead the entirety of the Flat Earth community descended upon it with a vengeance. The YouTube channel GlobeBusters informed me that they were going to be deconstructing my video in their weekly live stream, and they invited me to check it out. I didn't really know what to expect. I thought there'd be some degree of dialogue or exchange. There definitely wasn't.
You're right, Professor Dave. They didn't have much of a dialogue at all with you. But I'm going to go ahead and do everyone a favor and cut down the video. Hopefully it'll be back up on Dave's channel soon, and you can watch it over there. Link to his channel in the About section. I'm going to illustrate to you the best parts of Professor Dave's response, where the debunk, every single piece of what Bob, Jeran, and the Morgile had to say was debunked effortlessly by Dave. Man, it had to sting. And I wonder why someone would want Professor Dave's video to go down. We'll talk a little bit about that in the next episode. But for now, here are the clips that illustrate just how right I am when I say that Bob and Jeran and the Morgile and a few others have been kicked out of Flat Earth. And after that, I'm going to show you Nathan Thompson getting kicked out of Flat Earth last night.
You've got the sun illuminating half this surface with an arbitrary and rigidly straight line down the middle. How, pray tell, does this work? How does light leave this object and travel one distance to stop here, and travel some totally different distance to stop over here? You guys love to talk about refraction and such things, so please explain how that works.
You can kind of draw a clockwise orbit, Bob, in the middle there, and you can see how this would cause, there you go, if the sun and moon are moving in this, and they're diamagnetic and pushing water, causing tides, and then you've also got these winds that and storms that would have to be what the sun and moon would cause.
Would have to be? How? You haven't explained anything. So the sun pushes water to get the air currents, and the moon pulls water to get the tides? Also, does the sun push the atmosphere in one direction to the right and magically in the other direction to the left? What about storm rotation, which is what this whole thing was about? You've made no attempt to even put the sun and moon in there and physically explain anything. You just say words relating to electromagnetism and hand wave it away.
No, Dave, we're not trying to claim that it's all caused by magnetism. My God, you extrapolate stuff that is just utterly ridiculous. We never said that, and they are electromagnetic phenomenon, like we have been claiming for a long time. Electromagnetic, like we have been claiming for a long time.
Going back to your day and night model, it's weird because you said that the sun moves between the tropics. Why isn't that shown here? Because if you did show that, you'd also have to change something about how far the light reaches, which would make this already absurd graphic even more absurd. Then, if we go back to the one for the seasons, why can't you show the dark half and light half while showing this? It's deliberately not shown because it would be obviously inconsistent. Therein lies the problem with the flat Earth model. You don't have one. And that's not the only problem. Here, you've got the sun and moon always opposite each other. Well, sometimes we can see the sun and moon at the same time. How does that work? What is an eclipse? When in this model does the moon get under the sun to block it?
The line going through the middle of the screen, if you picture the sun traveling from the right side of the screen to the left, it would create those same wind patterns above and below it.
Sorry, didn't you say that the sun moves from tropic to tropic? In that case, the boundary that divides the direction of storm rotation would also move from tropic to tropic. It doesn't. Storm rotation doesn't vary by the time of year. Also, why wouldn't compasses follow the sun through the sky? Also, why wouldn't storms speed up during the day while near the sun and slow down at night when the sun is away? Also, if you're claiming these southern winds are so incredibly fast, how is that possible if they're the furthest away from the source of the effect? None of it makes sense. In actuality, the Coriolis effect is just the result of basic physics relating to rotating bodies. That's why the equator is the dividing line. Pretty simple, don't you think?
Which makes a whole lot more sense than the Coriolis effect, being the reason in the heliocentric on the ball Earth for storms going in opposite sides of the equator. In fact, that is just silly when you think about that. That makes no sense whatsoever. It's ridiculous.
No.
Wow, very convincing counter-argument. Let's move on.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if you're doing an Olympic, say, long jump event, I would always opt to jump from east to west because, where you're going to land should be racing towards you.
No. When you jump off the Earth or take off from the Earth, you retain the momentum imparted upon you by the rotation of the Earth. This has nothing to do with the atmosphere. It's also very easy to prove. Stand on the back of a moving truck. Jump up. What happens? Do you fly back off the truck at 30 miles an hour? No, you land right back where you started, even though the truck has moved forward while you were in the air. Why? Because in the air, you retain the forward momentum of the truck. When you jump off the Earth, or take off from the Earth, the same thing applies.
And of course, the globe earthers are going to say, well, you have your momentum that's lent to you by the Earth, spinning east, and you're going to retain that momentum forever. And the same thing applies to airline flights.
Yeah, you got it.
If science is telling us that we're going at all these velocities, then you're telling science that it's not true.
Okay, let's shift gears and come back down to Earth. You guys have a lot to say here, especially regarding the stars in the night sky.
Because the stars have never changed in all of recorded history, all of millennia. Nothing has ever changed.
False. Take the North Star. Right now, it's Polaris. In the time of the ancient Egyptians, it was another star called Thuban, which is documented. In a few thousand years, it'll be a different one still. The precession is extremely slow. Any thoughts?
So over 18 years, we should have seen a misalignment between our axis of rotation, allegedly, and Polaris.
Yeah, you can, just not with the naked eye. The change is very tiny.
Now, the globe Earth proponents say there used to be a different North Star 6,000 years ago, and there will be another new North Star in another 6,000 years, but that's just kicking the can out so far that nobody can observe it in the future. I mean, we're all going to be long gone in 6,000 years.
I'm sorry that astronomical phenomena don't conform to your lifespan. It doesn't make them fake. Also, if this was all made up, why make up this part? Why deliberately introduce the problem of the precession of the rotational axis if it's not needed for anything? It makes no sense. Then comes this bit about the personal dome.
That's all the stars we can see. And the stars lower to the horizon at the edge of that circle, of a 12,000 diameter circle. So as you move, this dome of stars moves with you, or your dome of vision.
We could deconstruct the absurdity of this idea for 10 hours, but I'll just say one thing. You can use the words perspective and refraction all you want, but that's all conjecture unless you can build a physical model that predicts the position in the sky of any star for any person anywhere in the world. Do that, and then we'll talk. How do they get on opposite sides of the Earth for a lunar eclipse? If the sun is very, very close and is also the source of all our heat, why doesn't it get hotter when you go up towards it in elevation? None of it works. We've barely even started, but let's review. We are trying to explain just two phenomena, seasons and night and day. To do this, you have two different models, both of which are incompatible with observation, but furthermore, they are incompatible with each other. Why can't you even attempt to explain both of these phenomena at the same time?
Now, what I've played for you up to now is barely touching the tip of the iceberg. This was almost an hour-long video that Professor Dave did. It completely hammers flat every single point the GlobeBusters made. It shows exactly why they're wrong and gives several points for every single thing that they try to bring up. He even demonstrates how they're saying the exact opposite thing with two of their points that they make back to back. And now you can kind of see why somebody have struck it down. It is the perfect debunk. There are so many more examples, and I want to show them to you, starting with what the GlobeBusters say and then moving into Dave's response. But I feel bad because you should be watching this on his channel. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do a quick supercut. Busy, grab the popcorn. We're about to start the supercut.
All those moments will be lost in time. Like tears in the rain.
Oh goodness, what was his name? The stupid balls in the shed experiment or whatever.
Cavendish.
Yeah, the Cavendish experiment certainly notwithstanding. But there's no evidence to suggest that mass attracts mass.
All you did was name the experiment that does the thing you're asking for and then proceed to say nothing about it. Physics undergrads do this experiment all over the world all the time. If you think it's invalid, explain why.
So good. The debunk. It's just so good.
Astronomy and astrophysics and all of that, Dave, these aren't even real sciences, okay? Now, you obviously are going to claim that they are, but the reason that they're not real sciences is because the only thing that you can do is observe them. You cannot test them, you cannot do anything to be interactive with them, you cannot generate hypotheses or experiments or anything like that. All you can do is simply observe.
Sorry guys, that's dead wrong.
Maybe, yeah, better than good. It's great. It's amazing.
Let's do another experiment. Drop a ball and see how long it takes to hit the ground. Now let's get back on that truck, move at a constant velocity relative to the ground, and do it again. We get the same thing. Now get on a plane and do it again. The plane is moving much faster, but you still get the same result.
This next part's too good, Busy. The next part coming up, it's too good. It goes from good and amazing to beautiful. Just watch this part, Busy.
So you're going to miss it by 25 miles.
Here's the funny part. You so thoroughly don't understand conservation of momentum that when you presented this whole bit to me, it was supposed to have something to do with the Coriolis effect. But like I said, this basic fact of physics has nothing to do with the atmosphere.
It's as good as fine art. It makes you cry just witnessing the power of the debunk.
The boat and the bullet and lighthouse are all moving around the Earth together, and the bullet will continue with the same momentum that the boat has once it leaves the gun. Again, super easy to prove.
I know I got a little bit silly at the end, but it's because it's such a good debunk. Professor Dave Explains did such a great job. I get so sick of people talking about planes lifting off or bullets traveling and saying that there should be some type of compensation for the spinning Earth, when that is an argument out of either complete ignorance, and I don't believe that because it's too simple of a concept, completely believe it's a deceptive nature with these guys. And I think that they try to argue things that can just confuse their audience enough and slide by because their audience pays them to do this. Just like I showed you with the Morgile in one of my previous episodes, like I've shown you with Jeran in previous episodes, and with Bob from GlobeBusters. I was going to show you Nathan Thompson in this because last night he went up in a debate forum with Team Skeptic and got completely smashed and did the same thing the GlobeBusters did in this situation. He demonstrated he doesn't even have the basic understanding. I'm talking the basic understanding of what he's talking about. That was going to be in this one, but it'll have to go. We're lucky we went over time because that'll come up to the next time in Kicked Out of Flat Earth episode 6. So look forward to that on UNIRock 2. Consider subscribing to my channel. You can join my channel if you really like my work. I have a Patreon. There are other ways to support us in the About section, and it helps. We're not a big channel, and any little thing you can do for us helps us keep producing. Also, Professor Dave explains he does not deserve to be struck. It is a form of censorship. I don't want to repeat myself. Please help him out. Please go to @UNIRocktv on Twitter and help us tweet at Team YouTube. The more people that tweet, the faster YouTube will get on restoring that video. And every hour that it's down, it went from 1,000 views. And as people found it, ScimanDan, other people, me, we tweeted it out, we shared it, we got it out there, we shouted it out. I shouted it out in my live show, and it went up and up and up, and it started to grow really fast. And that is the reason I think that while I was editing this video, somebody struck it down falsely. Thanks for watching. Subscribe button below, hit the like button, and I'll see you next time on this series, Kicked Out of Flat Earth.